Hello and welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John, where in each episode we'll stroll down the Macintosh memory lane. We'll discuss older Macintosh computers, collecting all things related to the Mac and Apple computer, and current topics from the perspective that only a couple of old Mac fans can provide.
Yes, here are those couple of old Mac fans. How are you doing, John?
Good. How about you?
Good. Keen viewers of the channel might have noticed an upgrade in the quality. Not the content, but like I don't know if is there anybody even out there? I see some comments
Derek.
on it.
Hey.
I think it was
Mac.
starting last week that they upgraded the default streaming quality of StreamYard from 720 to 180p. And of course, jacked up the rate to account for that, I guess. So we had no choice. Previously, you had the option. We have no more option. So the base is 180 or 1080. So I don't know. Can anybody comment? Does it look clear? Maybe you're all just watching it on a
Matthew, how's it look in Australia?
I'll have to.
He says looking good here. So
I'll have to do a test against a couple of episodes ago and see if it's any better. All right. Thank you, Derek. Let's kick it off. Let's go. Oops. All right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 709 for May 19th, 2025. Good evening, John.
Good evening, James.
We're back. Back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
We've got stuff lined up. I think we teased it last week, did we?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we teased it to
at least to the
YouTube
in-studio crowd. Yes, right.
Yes, we did. And this is primarily going to be visual. So if you're not watching the YouTube channel,
that's right. If you want to see what you're missing out on, head over to YouTube.
So I'll do my best to describe it and entice you to check it on the YouTube channel. But this week, we're going to look at this. It's really an eBay find that I procured.
Communication Arts.
Communication Arts is the name of the magazine. So we're going to look at that a little bit later in the show. You're going to find out why it's so desirable, so much so that I snapped it up on eBay. And I think actually it was an eBay find. We did talk about it, but
did we?
But the listing wasn't really clear exactly what it was, and it was kind of pricey. Anyway, we'll talk more about it when we get into it. We've got that. We've got eBay finds. We've got a little bit of news, and we'll be right back with those eBay finds. All right. Let's flash some eBay finds. All right. You ready to go?
I am.
Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's eBay finds time. Last week we had the Power Macintosh G4. This was the 450 megahertz dual processor edition, but it also included the cinema display with the
CRT
ADC,
yes.
the Apple Display Connector CRT-based studio display. They wanted to buy it now of $499.99, or you could make an offer. Actually, a pretty fair price, but it's still available. So there you go. It was all tested and working, really great condition. And then, what did we have? What was next? We had the Power Macintosh G3 all-in-one, also known as the Molar Mac.
Yes.
or Toothintosh, right? Toothintosh. People say that. Fully tested. It was pretty loaded. And this one, they wanted $599.99 was the buyout. Now, also a make an offer option was available, but nobody bought it. It's still out there. And then finally, the
Oh,
SE30
yes.
color LCD retrofit kit. So it's just the kit for modifying an SE30 to include a color LCD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With using the original logic board, which I still think is amazing. I'm sure it's still available at $600. Or they may also, since the person who's selling this is the one who's making it, there's probably more than one available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's pretty slick. All right. This week we'll start with this. The title is Vintage Apple Macintosh 2 with Original Box Tested. The description says, this is a listing for an extremely rare example of a boxed Apple Macintosh 2 computer. This was Apple's first color Macintosh. Unit is in good cosmetic condition and is very clean inside. Includes box and original keyboard. Keyboard has a small chip in one corner and does not include the keyboard cable. Box and system have matching serial numbers. It's in untouched condition. No work has been done to it. I was able to jumpstart the system to test it by connecting a battery to the power supply connector internally, and it boots to the Mac OS desktop. Several games are installed, and so they didn't
I
have
noticed
any,
there. I noticed
have
on the screenshot that there
Mhm.
a lot of the games that they show are Infocom text adventures,
Oh,
which I thought was pretty nice.
yeah. Now looking at the pictures here, let me go back to the beginning here. You can see the outside box, pretty good shape given the age. Inside the box, well, I guess the styrofoam. I guess they removed the styrofoam, so it does have the styrofoam probably. A little bit
Oh,
of
thank you
yellowing.
for pointing that out, because at first I thought it was just sitting loose in the box, but you're
Yeah,
right. They would have. I can see it now down to the very bottom. They've got the bottom
right.
apples in there.
Of course, you'd
It
want
is
to,
always yellowed, I have to
yeah,
say. Yeah.
could use some retro brighting here. And if you bought this, you'd want them to, box within a box. Um,
Did these develop the brittle plastic? Do you know?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't think they're as bad as some of the others. I mean,
Hmm.
mine are
Yeah.
crumbling before my eyes, but I
I,
gently handle
right.
them.
But I always thought it was more the mid '90s
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So Mac 2, I still remember when this came out. I was in the Air Force, stationed on Eglin, and me and my friend George, who was another big Mac head, drove from the base down to Navarre because it
Mhm.
was the closest place selling one. And unfortunately, they were not open, but they had the system set up in the window. And we probably spent a good 15 minutes with our noses just pressed against the glass, just trying to look at that amazing, beautiful color Macintosh.
Oh, color. Yeah, when the Mac came out, of course, it was black and white, and there were color computers. There were a lot of less expensive color computers. I mean,
Yeah.
even the Apple II, right? And so, as cool as the Mac was, you had to kind of convince yourself that it was fine that it was black and white, right? It was like, oh no, this is perfectly fine. You don't need color, and you can do amazing things with that color. Uh, and then of course it's you can only do that for so long. When color came out, you're like, oh, finally, must have. Pretty clean inside. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is being
Yeah,
sold by the Bite Shop, which they sell a lot of vintage stuff. So I'm sure this thing's been gone over. No
yeah.
battery
No,
bombs in this thing.
I'm sure no relationship to the original Byte Shop that sold the
Right, right.
first Apple computers. What did we say? $899.99 is the buy it now. There's no make it offer.
I think that's pretty darn good price.
Yeah, that's about right. Especially when you get the box like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's next?
This is a really cool one. It's an Apple IIc with rare multi-RAM CX expansion. This is gonna be the model that's got the Alps keys and this has got the ROM 4 in it. Um, that very first picture that kind of shows everything that's being sold with this together. It's a got the box, it's got the styrofoam, it's got the box for the monitor, as the old green screen monitor. Um, it's got pictures showing the extra RAM that's in it. Now, one of the things that they mentioned on this down in the description is that enjoy an extra 512K of RAM. This tantalizing prospect of the tantalizing prospect of upgrading to a 65C816 processor, 4 megahertz processor by sorting the right PAL chip. Um, don't know if you really need to upgrade your 2C that much, but hey, why not? The other nice thing is they've upgraded the ROM chip that's in there, but they include the original ROM chip with it. The one thing that they mention is that the supplied mouse has a wiring issue with intermittent disconnection. But if you also look at that mouse, it is not the one that would have come with the 2C. So, so there you go. This one, it's got a buy it now price of $600 or best offer. This is coming out of where? Eugene, Oregon. So maybe you can play Oregon Trail on it just to make you feel at home.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Really
nice
clean.
setup.
Really clean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And last, we have the vintage 1980 Apple Computer $100 million Marketing Team Member Award acrylic cube. I have not seen this before. The description says it's a rare Apple Computer $100 million Marketing Member Award from January 1980. A 2¼ inch acrylic cube with some minor wear and scratches and a small nick on the bottom. So let's look at these pictures. So you've got an Apple logo with 100 in the middle of it, and then written underneath there, or I guess on the bottom, right? On the bottom of the cube it says member $100 million marketing team, January 1980. Apple Computer written in Mater Tectura.
Very nice.
You look around. So I guess it looks like it's like the Apple. It's got a kind of there's a relief to it.
Yeah.
Is it like maybe
inside
metal?
the inside? I that's what I'm trying to see if it's like an air gap. Like they did it, and then there was an air gap that is
I think it's
the
a
shape
piece
of the
of
Apple
metal.
logo. I can't tell.
I think you can see on the side that it's got a
Well,
width
again,
to
I
it.
couldn't tell whether. Yeah, no, but I still couldn't tell
Oh,
with
I see what you're
the.
saying.
But yeah, no, I'm looking at the close up now, and yeah, it does look pretty shiny. So I think you're
Yeah.
right that it is.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see if there was something where you could kind of see through it, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a piece of metal that was stamped, polished, and then embedded
into the
in this
acrylic.
acrylic cube. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty sharp. $100 million. Wow.
1980, I think that's great.
1980, yeah. And to buy it now, $395. There is no make an offer. No bidding on this one. It ships from Basehor, Kansas. So there you go. So we'll check in on these next week. All right. Well, Derek is active in the comments. He's making up for the fact that we have very few people in the chat. He's filling it up as if we had 100 people there. All right. We're moving on to the main segment. I'll have to share a different window here. Let's see here. All right. We'll put that up there, but then I'm going to take it away. Okay. Here we go. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, I don't know. It was a number of episodes ago. There was an eBay find.
I don't see episodes in your contacts. Who do you want to call?
That is my phone. Why is my phone doing that? So there was an eBay listing, and it was like it just said like a 29-page document or brochure or something was the advertisement. It had some sample scans from this document. And the scan shows some intriguing pictures of Apple's history, some that I had never seen in any other publication, republished online or whatever. They were just like, wow, look at these. And we talked about it. It didn't sell. It seemed like a little too much. And so again, it didn't sell. And then I went back looking at it and I thought, boy, there's something peculiar about this.
Uh-huh.
And I made an offer and didn't think about it at all. I didn't get anything that I recall of the offer being refused or accepted or anything. And then one day I get an envelope in the mail. I'm like, what the heck is this? And it was that item. I guess my wife and I share an eBay account. I guess she saw that the offer had been accepted and then paid for it, unbeknownst to me. And so it was a pleasant little surprise that this showed up in the mail. And then I discovered, well, what this really was. And what this really was is this issue of Communication Arts magazine dated May-June 1985. It's got $5 as the cost on it. Communication Arts magazine is actually still around. It's been around for a while, since 1959. They say it's the premier source of inspiration for graphic designers, art directors, design firms, corporate design departments, advertising agencies, interactive designers, illustrators, and photographers, everyone involved in visual communication. And they still have, I guess they still do a physical publication, but, obviously they're doing it back here. And in this particular issue, they have this, actually I think it's 30-page, not like an insert, like an ad-free feature on Apple Computer.
Wow.
In 1985. And it's written, there's a lot of history in here and, what was going on with the company at the time. But the focus is the communication side of it, the art, the advertising, the materials that they made, anything to do with art and design. So there's some cool reading in here that I'm not going to read to you here today, but I did want to go back and look at some of these cool photos. So this is where it gets visual. So I did do a very crappy job of turning this into a PDF. I need to figure out a better system because with it's a magazine, so obviously it's going to have bending and all that. But I did want to quickly scoop up the images, and so there's a big segment on the 1984 ad that was still fresh in people's mind. There's some pictures from that commercial, but they're all very familiar. I mean, even these stills, some of these stills we've seen used lots of times. Then there's some other photos in here, like photos of the
team.
The team that I had never seen before.
Yes, right.
So these, I want to do some really good scans of these photos and, oops, okay, that's not cooperating with me. Let's try that again. Photo of the two of John Scully and Steve Jobs. The Chiat Day creative team here, the Apple creative team, and then they have the creative services group photo. This photo here on the bottom. So again, with the art focus, and then there's some photos of the original Macintosh brochure.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen those before, right?
Right.
So nothing new there. There's Bill Gates. Um, Seen all these before. Then some other photos. Let me see. I'm gonna scroll over here a little bit. Here's some excerpts from the original Macintosh manual and some discussion about that. Um, some photos from various festivals, like Apple II Forever, that I hadn't
Oh,
seen before.
fantastic.
Um, so look at this photo of the introduction of the Apple IIc. Everybody holding up the 2Cs, and then some photos from the Apple IIc advertising campaign. We were just talking about the 2C. Look at this one. There's the advertisement that shows the little LCD display that was available as an option, and more photos for different ads that they did. But I want to go a little further here. Look at these photos here. There's some interesting things getting in here. Like here,
Is that the rug?
the latch hook rug
Latch hook rug, yeah.
kit, or actually the specialized one that the limited numbers were made of this
Oh, they were
rug
pre-done
here with the
by
Apple logo.
by that lady, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so here is a festival, an Apple event, and there's that Apple rug. Looks like it's on a pedestal floating in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
See pictures from that
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the Blue Busters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? They had the parody of Ghostbusters.
Right.
Look at this. Here's a demonstration here of probably Macintosh Office, their networking laser printer.
Love it.
I wonder if there's video of that. And you can see. So this is an Apple, I think it was an Apple corporate event, right?
Yeah.
They're all wearing cowboy hats. I guess they were handed out there. You see the banners for the different stations that you would go to.
Oh, that's killer.
When you went there.
Wow.
Like cool, the design of that.
Yeah.
Let's scroll on here. And then here's some of the
Wow.
packaging for the 2C and for the Macintosh. Now, this is really cool. So they actually have the original Apple computer logo here. And, of course, credit to Ron G. Wayne.
Fantastic.
That was, very seldom seen. That was very short-lived.
Right.
And so they published that there, along with, of course, the Modern Tectura. And then here's some logo items. The
you have a version of that wooden
right,
sign,
the wooden sign that stood outside some of the Apple facilities.
Have you looked to see if that is the exact one?
That's mine. It is not. I actually did look. Mine. The purple or magenta, whatever stripe isn't as faded as this one in the picture. But they are similar. And then here, look at this cool van.
Oh my gosh!
With the Modern Tectura Apple, the
personal
thin horizontal lines, and then the personal computer, like the poster written on a van. Isn't that awesome?
Sweet van, dude.
Yeah, more places where they use the Apple logo, signs from the buildings. Gosh. Yeah, and then this tractor trailer, which looks
the Super Bowl picture with all the Super Bowl maps, seat cushions. Wow.
Right.
Check that out.
So I hadn't seen any of these photos before. This truck is awesome. Here's some more black and white photos from, looks like the 2C introduction.
Is that Jim Henson?
That is Jim Henson. Yeah.
Nice.
Jim Henson. I guess he participated in something early on.
Is that? Yeah.
And Kurt Vonnegut.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just a treasure trove of just cool little
wait, back up.
Yep.
Back up. The ad that says, if you go to the bathroom during the fourth quarter, you'll be sorry.
Yeah.
Apple. That's hilarious.
I think these are excerpts from different advertising campaigns, different print ads. There's the Macintosh Office.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, there's a poster This one, it doesn't look familiar. I've seen versions of this, but I don't remember this particular
Yeah,
presentation of the Macintosh Office. So maybe some of this stuff actually never was used. And I think, is that more? Oh, there's a little bit more. Um, Here's an ad, print ad. IBM is finally talking to us, and more Macintosh Office showing a
never
Macintosh
seen that before.
connected to a mainframe of some
Mainframe.
sort. And
Yeah.
it's got that really rare little
Oh,
interface
that's
box
right.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Um, PDFs are hard to zoom and scroll. So let's see. I think, is that it? I think that's it. Yep, that's the last one. So,
So I was looking on
yeah.
eBay,
Yeah.
and so they have Communication Arts Magazine Complete 1985 set, all
Oh,
8 issues for $55.
well,
So I'm just
maybe
going to pop that
once
in
you
there
buy
because
that,
I know I can't buy more stuff, but I bet you there's a certain guy in Australia who's watching right now that
yeah, because what
might
really needs
pick
to be
those
done
up.
is the pages need to be cut out and scanned properly. And I don't want to. I just have the one issue. I don't want to cut it out, but
Matthew, let me know if that link actually showed up properly
yeah,
for you.
and that would be a heck of a deal because that's cheaper than what I bought because they don't know about the little gem hiding in the one particular issue. So, all right, well, that was Communication Arts Magazine, May June 1985. Oh, did he get it? It sounds like he got it. Got it meaning bought it or
That URL looks a little unwieldy because it's those eBay
yeah.
URLs are crazy long. So I'm gonna go tiny URL that, see if it
Uh-huh.
helps.
Oh, he got the
There we
link.
go.
Got the link. Okay, good.
Did you get it? Is he
The
saying?
link, yeah.
Got the link. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna
I
transition
will
to
not.
news. What?
Okay. I just want to mention before we get to the end that next Monday is a holiday and I will not be available.
Oh, that's right. It's Memorial Day,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
a week from today. Okay. All right, let's get to switch screens. I'm sharing here.
Ooh, $112 to ship that to Australia.
Yikes!
Oh, that's crazy.
All right, let's do the news in three, two, one. Just a couple of things we want to talk about in the news, and like the most tiniest of news stories I saw. In Daring Fireball by John Gruber. The title is Single Story A's in Very Early Macintosh System 1. John discovered that in the very earliest versions of Mac OS, the letter A in the font Geneva was written a little bit differently than the A in later versions.
Well, also depending on the font size,
Oh, is that
right?
right too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which makes sense because it was a bitmap font. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So if you got a wee tiny font, you're working with fewer and fewer pixels. So I can understand why they had to do it. What
So
they mean by one story and two-story A
yeah.
is either an A with the extra little line on the top. Not that it was any taller. Um, it's just that the
Right.
modern Tractor A was what he was calling the single-story A versus
So here's the A
right.
in README, and so he's calling that a single story A. There's like one level. And you look at that A, if you look at it by itself, does it even look like an A? Because there's no little
It almost
tail.
looks like a
It's
backwards D, right?
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, you look at it
Yeah.
with the D next to it, and it's a little wider. But yeah, it's doesn't have a lot of character in it. So, oops, there we go. Let's go back to that. And so that was System 1.0. And when you go to System 2.0, now look at the A.
Yeah,
It's two stories. Let's try that again. Right?
there you go.
And yeah, it looks like an A. It stands alone as an A. Not how most people write A's, but we're still comfortable with that in print. So those tiny little details that you see if you spend too much time staring at fonts in early versions of the Mac OS. That's on daringfireball.net. Now, it's been a number of years since we used to highlight creations of Dana Sabera on this show,
AKA Nanoraptor,
aka
right?
Nanoraptor. And now, what the heck is happening here? Somebody was posting a picture of it, and I think in the Vintage Mac Facebook group, and they had a link to this Shift Happens site. Now I gotta, and it showed a bunch of highlights.
Once you do subscribe, all of a sudden
it does, doesn't it? I think it's because it's behind some kind of paywall. But when I first loaded this,
no, I'm on it right now, and
is that right?
It's fine.
Why
Yeah.
don't you share your screen then?
Oh yeah, sure thing.
This somebody posted the link to this website that had a pretty good greatest hits of Dana / Nanoraptor, and made me nostalgic for those days when we would see those creations as they came out. So why don't you scroll through here and show some
Hang
of
on a
these.
second, I got to actually show it. Why is it showing yours?
Oh, here, I'll show it. Oops. I'll show it for you. There you go.
All right, excellent.
So, like, what is that? A Marble 2SI?
Marble 2, yeah.
Yeah.
The Landscape PowerBook V4. So yeah, I think
Not
they
very
just went through
ergonomic, but awesome.
and pick some of their favorites from over the years. Dual USB-C. So I've seen some of these before back when Dana used to post on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. And it was fun kind of going back and seeing some of these again. And
yeah, some of these I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the W titanium PowerBook G4W folding mechanism.
Yeah, and of course the cool things about those creations were they were always done. A lot of them were done, in the environment.
Yes,
in office,
right. Yeah,
and even with wear on them.
Mm-hmm.
So they look like legit photos. Of
They really do,
desk.
and some of them is like they're like this close to being like something that could have been done. But also like one where she was poking fun of the fact that one of the newer Apple mice had the charging port on the bottom of the mouse, which
that one, go back to that one. I mean, that one has the ADB connector on the bottom, which isn't
Correct.
just charging. That's how you use it at all. So obviously,
right.
you're never going to be able to use that thing unless you use it as a trackball, I guess.
Or the G5 laptop, where the
yes,
where the bottom of the because they could
never
the G5 small enough.
Yeah, well, it was the cooling, right? Also, it was going to be a barrier.
Right.
But now a lot of these things, it provides inspiration for makers today that wanted to
so
maybe build something like that.
On the very
fast.
bottom. That's because you mentioned that, and so one of the things down at the very bottom is a 3.5-inch magneto-optical disc that
with a display.
Has a display, and somebody decided to actually make that one.
Holy!
So they 3D printed one.
Yeah, a little monitor that's in a floppy disk. Is that?
Yes.
Is that
3D
the size?
floppy disk.
We can't
probably.
Tell.
I'm going to guess it's thicker. It's thicker than
the.
Yeah, but still very nicely done. So and it's great to see that Nanoraptor is back. She's over on Blue Sky.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And so there's some new
So,
things. There's a vinyl wrapped Mac Studio.
which I believe that this is she actually did that. So
Oh, okay.
she actually vinyl wrapped it to give it, and she's using a uh, Mac the keyboard 2 extended.
Apple Design Keyboard 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Keyboard 2. Yep. Neat. Okay. So we need to start checking in there for cool
yeah.
creations. All right. Well, that's what's the handle? nanoraptor.danamania.com over on Blue Sky. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I'm not on Blue Sky. I haven't.
I need.
I suppose we should lock that.
I,
Lock
I
it
can
on
I
Blue Sky.
can I can get in on that and then never ever 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 post anything, just like on Twitter that I started a Twitter account. I don't know, at this point, maybe what, 9, 10 years ago. Never posted a single thing,
Yeah, that's the way my Instagram account is.
or my Facebook account for that matter, or my Reddit account for that matter.
All right, let's wrap this up in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that wraps up another episode of the RetroMacCast. We will be on vacation next week. The the holiday being Memorial Day
Yeah,
here in the United States.
which falls on
So
Monday this year. So
yeah,
yep,
so we'll be off, and then I guess we'll be back the week after that. Probably
yeah. Hmm.
more to talk about. I apologize. I don't have an addition to my weekly inventory check of the
Shame, James.
collection. I spent too much time messing around taking photos of that magazine, and that's my excuse. Take it or leave it. I will try to double up when I see you next time. Thanks those for joining us in the chat. If you want to watch us, you can tune in live on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. Or just watch it after it's recorded so you can see all the
That's
photos
right.
from that magazine I was talking about.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody to the chat for joining us.
Matthew, Derek.
Yeah. And did you check? Matthew was checking on getting that set of magazines. So they are here. What's it cost to ship to us? Did you check that? Or
It was
we just need to-
like it was 2 digits at least.
Oh.
Hang on.
Send me the link. I want to.
All
Maybe
right,
we should
well,
do a.
Sure. Yeah.
We should do a live buy here, but. All right. Well, until we'll do that in the after show. Until next week, remember. Well, forgive me. Until next time, in 2 weeks. Remember, it's
That's
not
right.
old.
It's retro.
Okay.
So
You
yeah,
said-
Matthew,
oh,
are
there
you
it is.
gonna go ahead and bite the bullet on that, or are you gonna pass?
Sounds like he's passing. Giving me,
$112 just for shipping is
How do I copy the link out of that?
yikesy.
I can't copy a
Can't?
link out of that text that you
Really?
sent.
You can't
No.
Okay,
No,
in
you
that
can only
case, is
display
there
it.
well, I'll just send it to you in messages.
Yeah, please.
Probably should have done it in the first place. All right, there you go.
Okay, let's see what we got going on here.
Oh, that's funny. So you could have grabbed it off of the YouTube. It shows up as an actual link. It doesn't show up as
Oh, I see.
a
in
link
our
we
chat.
can get to in StreamYard.
$55. Let's see. It's $15.88 to ship.
Yeah, just a bit cheaper. You're going to do it?
You could make an offer. I mean, $55 is not a bad deal. Let's just do it. That way I'll have an extra one that I can slice and dice and do
Get
some
decent
decent scans of it.
scans.
Yeah. Is that all right, Matthew? You'll benefit from the digitals of it. Oh, there's tax too? Oh my goodness.
Is there a tariff?
It's $75 by the time you add tax and all that.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a make an offer. You can always.
That's all right. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the people. Okay, it's done. All right. Anything else we need to buy? Why I got the credit card out. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Okay. Again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll play a little music. There it is. And play us out.
Thanks for listening to the RetroMacCast with James and John. Email listener comments and questions to retromaccast@gmail.com or post comments on our website at www.retromaccast.com.